Hello. All right, fine. I'll do a podcast. Ugh. Fine, I'll get a podcast out there. Fine, I'll do another podcast. All right, God. Are you a Gen Zer? Do I have any Gen Z listeners out there? Are you a Gen Zer? I think I might be getting a cold or something. I don't know. Uh, hell yeah. Well, guys, I might have some news stories. I don't know. I just clicked to see if there was anything. Apparently, some girl killed her mom with a frying pan after her mom discovered that she got kicked out of college. Everybody struck her mom, I guess, in the head with an iron skillet, then stabbed her nearly 30 times in the neck just because she found out that she was kicked out of college. She might be schizophrenic. She suffers from mental health issues, including borderline personality traits, malingering, and an anxiety disorder. What the fuck does that mean? Malingering. Fabrication, feigning, or exaggeration of symptoms to achieve a desired outcome, including getting off of work and stuff. Okay, that means that she probably faked having a mental illness then. I have anxiety, so like, I kill people or whatever.
I have anxiety, so like, I might kill my mom with a frying pan and stuff, yeah. Sydney, what a shame, man. What a shame. Ugh. Yeah, because you have a fucking personality disorder, you're gonna kill
somebody? Because you have anxiety? Man, this is gonna be interesting on these Gen Zers. I don't know if hold on, 23, yeah, she's a Gen Zer. I don't know if I have any Gen Z listeners out there, but any of you guys kill your mom? I mean, people are so fucking psychotic now. I mean, I always see these stories and I'm like, you know, the media always runs with crazy stories, so it might seem like people are crazier now than they used to be. But I mean, people kind of are crazier than they used to be, because like now there's crazy crimes like dismemberments. There was that one girl that I think I talked about who like cut off this guy's head that she had sex with, Taylor or something. And now look at this 23-year-old woman that has anxiety and acne, apparently. Kills her mom because she was kicked out of college and she didn't want the secret out. Actually, I've heard of another story about that. There was some guy that did that because but he had a whole elaborate, like, it wasn't just college. He faked a ton of stuff. This just looks like a freak out. Like, oh, you found out that I was kicked out of college. You have to die. All of a sudden. I mean, it does say they argued schizophrenia. Look, if it is, I'm always like, you know, I'm always like, well, it could be schizophrenia. It's like, I wonder how, like, if there's regular, normal schizophrenic people out there. I know that almost sounds like an oxymoron or whatever, but I mean, does every schizo person? They probably don't have to kill people. I mean, they might hear stuff like delusions. They might hear voices, but like, I don't think that would make every one of them like murder people. Like, what if you just see one, like you see a invisible thing every day or something. I don't know. All the like all the standard schizo people probably hate that stereotype that they all have to go kill. Some more great NYC news. NYC couple mugged by gang of 12 young crooks. They were surrounded by a dozen baby-faced crooks. Why are all these young people now? Look, if I have any Gen Z listeners, probably not. But if there are any out there, I mean, hey, I'm a fan of you. I would never, don't attack me. Just because TikTok isn't working that day or something. Like, that would be the reason now. Why did you kill those people? I don't know. TikTok wasn't loading and like I just did that shit. I just did
that shit, yo. I don't know. TikTok not loaded, me killed.
It looks like these were tourists too. And I mean, this was a young couple, 22-year-old and a 23-year-old man, were confronted by the 12 young-looking suspects in East Village, which is, I mean, that's not like a bad, I don't think, neighborhood. It's just neat. It's just regular where tourists would have went. We're going back to the old Badland days of New York now.
It's not so safe in the neighborhood now, is it? Oh, you think we're a bunch of young people just hanging out? No, we're gonna get you. Why? Because we saw a TikTok challenge to kill people, so now we kill people. We do because me see TikTok, so me do. Me attack because I see TikTok about attack people, so I do it for challenging views.
Whenever I do that voice, it almost becomes a Schwarzenegger impression.
Me do it, aye. Me do it. Get to the chopper.
All right. So they just took this. Oh my God! They took the cell phones, purse, wallet, and debit cards, and just ran away. And these are fucking. They have a suitcase. They're probably tourists. That's all right. Just a word of a wise word of advice here. Don't come to New York anytime soon. I'm just gonna let you know. If you're a tourist, especially, and you don't know the city and stuff, yeah, just hold off for, I don't know, a decade. Just hold off. I don't know. But any other news? Got all the same stuff. Taylor Swift has another new boyfriend. I mean, man, this is embarrassing. I mean, I honestly wouldn't like. It's like she wants to be like seen by the paparazzi because she's always in the news, like for whoever she's dating. It's like she wants that to be in the news. I mean, I would really try to be private now because like none of these have worked out, like none. And I mean, she's getting up there and like where the clock's gonna tick soon about kids or whatever. So like, she's dating some football player, of course. I mean, the apparent new couple. Like, how long has this been happening? 1 day or something? It's like embarrassing. I feel like I'm cringing. Like, why would you want everybody to know when you're dating somebody all the time? Yeah, more migrants coming. They said they might change the, I don't know. They might change the like sanctuary city thing. I don't know. Who knows? It's just a mess.
It's a mess.
We saw just a freaking mess.
That's a mess. That's a mess. That's a mess. Okay. Me attack you. TikTok is down. Me attack someone.
Gen Z murder spree. Let me look at that up. Is Gen Z more violent? Well, they do have more mental health problems. When I look something up and a years old article comes out. Yeah. Gen Z worries about gun violence all the time. Well, I guess that makes sense because they're doing it. They're the ones doing the essings in schools. Oh, interesting. Young people fear gun violence, but also think guns may keep them safe. Black and brown people are disproportionately affected by gun violence. Okay. How stupid are people? God. Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna play a couple people debating clips. I just found this one. Just to show you how like crazy sensitive people on the sort of far left are, or maybe the left. I don't really know, like what. I guess just the mainstream. Yeah. I mean, I just randomly saw this one. Apparently, Dax Shepard had a debate with this person, Jonathan Van Ness. I don't know what he identifies as or pronouns or whatever, so I'll just say person. Fine, like he can be whatever he wants to be. But apparently he or they or whatever is burst into tears during debate with Dax Shepard defending trans rights. So I guess Dax kind of took I think maybe devil's advocate. I'm not going to really, I don't know. I guess I'm surprised that Dax Shepard would be pushing back at all about this. I'll just go on record. I can't stand Dax Shepard, except for like in the movie Idiocracy and whatever he's in. Mostly, before that but he's pretty annoying. But like, I don't know. I don't listen to his podcast. I'm not a fan, but I guess I'm glad he kind of debated. But I just now saw this article. It says it was published today, September 25th at 8:40 p.m. ET. Why do I read the time? Because countdown till Dax Shepard apologizes. Because Jonathan Van Ness, I know he's a Queer Eye guy or something. I didn't see that show on Netflix. I know it was like a new version of the Queer Eye for the Straight Guy thing. So he like wears dresses or whatever he wears. Apparently it says here he uses they, he, and she pronouns. So I can say he and it's fine then. Anyone? All right. So anybody like just? Is it not okay to say how? It's a little ridiculous. Isn't it a little ridiculous? Is it not okay to say it's a little ridiculous to have they, he, and she pronouns? To not know how to refer to someone, to be scared to even say he or she or whatever, to guess at it. It's a little ridiculous. It's a little self-indulgent. I don't know if that's the right term, but okay, so this was a nearly 2-hour episode with pleasantries. And this is interesting. This is the NewYorkPost.com, and they are kind of taking the side of they're not Dax, which you would think, because I thought they were sort of right-leaning thing, but I don't know. So apparently it was going well, and then, guess what? And then it got
a little tense when Dax Shepard said it was, quote, insane that President Joe Biden is the country's best option. Then the duo clashed over whether the New York Times should be considered a left-leaning newspaper. Why?
I mean, it's clearly a left-leaning newspaper, so what? How can you be a human being and not admit that it's a little? You can say a little, but are you kidding me? So Van Ness argued it's not left-leaning because of recent articles about gender-affirming care that some readers interpreted as, quote, anti-trans. And here's where it got a little tense. Shepard, however, used conservative
talking points, claiming the Times was merely challenging and asking, quote, questions about issues such as teens taking puberty blockers and hormones. Some people are very uncomfortable about teenagers transitioning, Shepard said. How do we know that the person's not going to change their mind? Then there's another counter-argument. If they kill themselves, then that's really effing permanent. To even question it makes you an enemy. I don't think that's the way forward. I feel like I'm talking to my dad, Van Ness shot back. The hairstylist...
So he can't even take that little tiny pushback. How do we not know that the person's going to change their mind? Okay, so maybe he should come back with, I don't know, something. If he believes this is like totally legitimate in every way, then he should be able to say something to that. I feel like I'm talking to my dad, and that's it. And getting up emotional. Say something back to it. Say something to his statement. How do we know that the person's not going to change their mind? How can you not, put up with that argument? How is that impossible to put up with? And by the way, I'm just going to go ahead, and if nobody knows this, the whole argument that somebody has to transition or they're going to kill themselves is fake and not real. That's from a flawed paper that actually isn't even valid. Nobody's going to look into that and figure that out. But that's just not a true thing. That's not based on any statistics. It's from some study from I'm not the person who don't take me, but just look into the original source of that statement and you'll find that it's not true. It's not based on anything. There is no actual data showing that there's a mass of kids offing themselves because they can't transition. I don't understand also the whole oh, we love drag queens. Why don't you say here's how you should present it. Look, okay, if you really want to transition, tell them how serious it is. I don't understand how they're acting like it's not serious, because it's an industry and they're profiting off of it. And it's a mill now. It's just a factory of kids getting hormones and, getting surgery. They're not going to stop it unless something, I just don't think people are even, aware of what's going on. Look up the podcast, what's it called? Look up the podcast, gender. Forget what I was. Oh, Gender, A Wider Lens, it's called. That's where I heard that about the paper. They wrote a book. They've, and they've had tons of people on that have actually worked at those clinics. These are real people, and they're not far right or anything. These are just real people. And I mean, Dax said one time, here's how you know that this is a very fragile, ideology or whatever. Dax says one tiny little thing, and he goes, I feel like I'm talking to my dad, and he starts to get emotional. He can't even hear that. I can't even hear that. Dax goes to even question it makes you an enemy, and then this guy gets emotional. You can't put. So you proved what he just said right. I don't even know if Dax is saying that from. Here's why I think Dax is going to apologize soon, because first of all, Macy Gray did. Some other people did. Fuck. Some other singer, like some pop singer from I don't know, Europe or somewhere did. Most of them will apologize. Macy Gray walked it back. I know Neo did, and then that was Santana too. Neo did, and then he said it was his agent that put an apology out. Same with Santana, same thing. He said they both said their agent put out an apology. But I think Dax will actually just apologize because I feel like what he's doing here is what he was just doing devil's advocate. I don't even really think Dax is against or even critical of trans. In my opinion, he was doing a devil's advocate, just taking the position of because the way he phrases it, some people are very comfortable about trans. He's not even saying that this is my opinion. He's saying, as I'm getting dumber by the second. As what's it called when you're not asking a question? He's just presenting it as arguments. Like he's going, how do we know that the person's not going to change their mind? And then he says, then there's another counter argument. So he's just presenting arguments. He's not saying in my opinion. I don't even know if he has kids or anything, but. And then the hairstylist proceeded to shift the conversation to transgender athletes and how they really don't have the competitive. You know what? Go figure that he's going to go ahead and say that trans don't have, Go figure he's going to go there next. But that's where he went next. He then shifted the conversation to transgender athletes and how they don't have the competitive advantages as some people like to think they do. Pesky old science there getting in the way and facts and reality getting in the way there, There's just so many things that are so much more important. And we're over here being like, well, there's legitimate concerns about trans athletes. There is. That's like a basic. I mean, talk about things that are important. I mean, what other things are more important than your daughter having to see a grown man grown man just with his dick out in the locker room and then being told that you're too sensitive if you don't want to see it? That's what happened to Riley Gaines and all them. They were told, oh, maybe you should go to counseling so you can deal with being forced to see a man's penis out all the time. Purposely. The fucking, the swimmer guy. All I'm saying is what we know about misinformation. A bunch of buzzwords. Go figure. Misinformation and disinformation
is when you have an outsized reaction to something. There's a good chance that you're being exposed to misinformation and disinformation. And a lot of that freaking rhetoric around the anti-trans backlash does have a lot of misinformation and disinformation. So he said
that 4 times in a row. Van Ness added that he finds it disappointing to realize how many people think they're really fighting for women, but they're excluding trans kids from sports. Oops, wrong.
I'm a non-binary fucking trans person. When I talk to my dad or people who say similar things, it's hard to be cool with that, okay? He said, later telling Shepard and his co-host, I'm not calling you a transphobe. You cannot be transphobic and still have thoughts that espouse trans misogyny. What? And espouse transphobic ideologies or beliefs and not be transphobic. But you're espousing it. And then it says again, Van Ness is non-binary and uses they, he, she pronouns. Van Ness continued, becoming more emotional. I just get a lot of little kids who aren't allowed to, join groups. I was really bullied for my gender expression as a little kid. Okay? And there's a lot of little kids who are going to be Olympic gold medalists. They don't want to go to the Olympics. Most kids who want to play sports aren't trying to go to the Olympics, right? Honestly, I just... I wanted to come, chat about my podcast.
So then he acts like he's, being bullied at the end. We're gonna do that, Shepard promised. I didn't, fuck. I did not intend to get into a debate with you about this, he added, again, complimenting... So here you gotta... Oh, this is this is talking about, this is walking on eggshells behavior here. The way he's going back. No, you're great. You're amazing. Look, I did not intend to get into a debate with you about this, he added, again complimenting Van Ness. I didn't want that at all. I adore you. I think you're hysterical and talented, and I love that you're an activist. I can just cry because I'm so tired of having to fight for little kids because they just want to be included. Van Ness said, I'd wish that people were as passionate about little kids being able to be included or grow up as they were about fictitious women's... What? I have to tell you, I am very tired. I'm scared of this vitriol that trans people face. What are you talking about? Okay, so this is... Yeah, Dax is gonna apologize, okay? I'll put money down on that. He's gonna... Because look at how he said... No. I adore you. I love that you're an activist. Dude, you're this is pretty toxic behavior from this guy. I don't even know. I haven't watched the show. I don't know anything about this guy, but the fact that he turns it around to act like he's being bullied and he can't talk about his podcast, and then Dax has to go, no, I love you. You're amazing. And then he goes, I'm just tired, I'm just tired. Okay, well, maybe go sleep then. Yeah, this guy has some kind of mental thing because that is not normal. Making Dax feel like he has to apologize? No, you're amazing. I'm so sorry, they, he, she. What an asshole, too, fake women, oh, it's a bullshit issue that, oh, it's fake, women don't have anything to worry about. He's acting like there's trans kids being born every minute, and what vitriol? Maybe he's talking about the sports thing. That's the only pushback I'm saying, and the Bud Light thing, I guess. If you want to call that vitriol. Those women weren't allowed to even protest anything. They weren't allowed to, they were told to, let him take your trophy, is what they were told. Riley Gaines tied with Leah Thomas. And they had her hold the trophy, and they told her backstage, if you, I've listened to a whole podcast with her. They told her, the NCAA told her, he's going to hold the trophy, and you just go, we're giving him the trophy for the pictures. That's literally what they told her. And they told them all, look, if you guys are uncomfortable seeing, because he would, leer at them in the locker room with his dick out. And they said, if you're uncomfortable, maybe you should go to counseling to deal with that. So he, oh my God, it's so fucked up, man. This guy is a narcissist. Fuck this guy. I don't care about if anybody's upset about that. If you guys, think this guy is little kids that want to, little trans kids that want to be in women's sports. Like, what are you talking about? These people don't live in reality. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. He can wear dresses or whatever he wants to do, but don't act like so many kids want to do that and know that they want to do that. Like, what are you talking about? And he couldn't even handle Dax Shepard saying something about Biden. This guy. Then Dax had to, fuck this guy. So this guy's worse than the other thing I was gonna play. So I sometimes listen to Adam Carolla and stuff. Like I kind of half grew up like listening to Adam Carolla on like Loveline and all that stuff. And he pretty much is like, he hasn't become a woke asshole. He is like one of the only ones out there. He has a huge I don't think anybody even thinks about him, but he has a huge podcast. And he somehow still has all these friends, even though he disagrees with like so many things. And people really don't talk about him enough because they act like, everybody talks about Rogan, but I don't know. I think Adam's more like bold than Rogan. Rogan's really just the guy who interviews people. And he kind of will push back, but like Adam actually has like debates and keeps, I don't know, he doesn't get enough credit, I don't think. So I was watching a recent episode with him, and he had another comedian on, Orny Adams, which I kind of heard of years ago, and they were arguing about this soccer coach that actually I should look that. So yeah, there was a Spanish soccer coach that kissed a goalie or something, and he now is suspended. But at first he refused to step down. At first the player defended him, and then eventually she said, "Actually, I was raped in the I mean, here's the problem I have with it. I mean, I basically agree with Adam that it's nothing. Like, it really is nothing. Like, because he played the video, and it's like, it's ridiculous to like make that something. I really don't understand, because it's on video, so I don't understand how it became a Me Too thing, because it wasn't an I could see if it was an unprompted random thing, but like I could see him doing that to a guy soccer player. Like, I mean, maybe it's just, I don't think it's just me, actually. I think a lot of European people assume that they just do that, like to greet each other, they do that.
De este maravilloso deporte, dedicándole ese título de campeona de este planeta. De este maravilloso deporte, dedicándole ese título de campeona de este planeta.
Oh, that was it. Wait, was that it? Yeah, I guess I agree with this tweet. Like, it's just an affectionate, like it's almost a family thing. He pats her on the back. I mean, that's something you do to a guy too. The only thing he did, like, that they're construing as weird as it was, a kiss on the lips or whatever, but it was just like nothing. It was nothing. Oh my God, that was it, guys. That was it. I mean, I'm sorry, but other cultures do that. Like, I mean, this is fucking crazy. Like, this tweet says, I've seen male players, managers, coaches kiss player on the lips like this. They're Spaniard. I agree. It's a different culture, too. I mean, if it was more it was in the moment. They won. They won. Are you kidding me? They won. You can't celebrate anything. Well, that's what Adam says, too. You're not allowed to celebrate anything. And they just want to tear it down. I mean, Anyway, so I thought I mean, this is the only time I've seen Adam kind of get pissed off, get like mad at someone, but he's like still friends with everyone. Like he's not like, to me, I'm like so annoyed at people. It's hard for me to keep like just be like, I'm kind of like, fuck this idiot, you know, like this guy would turn on you if he's like this about that, and he thinks this guy should be, well, he does admit that he doesn't think he should have stepped down, but
to be repeated outburst of uninhibited joy. Feminism, however,
so this they are reading a conservative lady's opinion on it, and then Orny has something to say about that. He doesn't like a line in there, and it's really funny how Adam now they're friends, by the way, that's the thing.
cannot tolerate toleration. It is a brittle ideology, unforgiving of human foibles. In order to maintain female grievance in a world increasingly dominated by females, it requires rigid enforcement of draconian
I hope I don't get a
rules that
notice.
condemn males as
We're playing this, but I have to agree about, I mean, honestly, I really don't, I'm like anti-feminism now. Like, I'm not an activist or anything. I'm not a male's right advocate, but I'll just admit I'm not a fan of feminism. I'm just, now if you say you're anti-feminist, that makes it sound like I'm a crusading. I'm not. I probably agree with most of it, but, well, not now, but you know, when it was first founded, when I'm not a there's a lot of guys, there's a lot of people, women too, still, that do have those old, like, the guy should pay every time, the guy should do all, I don't like, I just don't really get that, I guess. Like, I think you can be equals more. I guess I don't know. I just don't get that. I don't, you know. But I mean, yeah, the feminism now is basically the opposite of the old one. Because now it's like, you can't even, like, women can't even, they don't know when they want to do something. You know, they're not capable of anything, basically. That's how they act. I mean, I don't understand how this player defended him so fiercely at first and then switched over, because that was such a fast fucking thing. I've been kissed by an ant that way, like, not, okay, maybe not holding the head, but that's because it was a sport celebration. Yeah, you would see, if I saw a guy coach do that to a guy player, I wouldn't even be like, that's kind of gay. That's how fast that was. He didn't even smack her on the ass. He just patted her back like a friendly thing. So this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, our culture is garbage now. In a way, you would maybe think maybe this is good, because we're so not sexist. You know, we're so pro women that we won't even let this slip by. I mean, maybe it's good that no, it isn't. Because now we're making things that aren't anything something. So, like, now we're just going to have miserable people everywhere. I mean, I already know, because of Me Too, I'll just admit that I wasn't comfortable. Just the idea of going to a work lunch or dinner and it was just like one woman coworker. I wasn't really into that idea. Like, I was nervous about it. I'd be nervous. I know bosses were nervous about having any kind of meetings with just a woman. They just wouldn't do it. I don't blame them. And you can't get mad about it. You really can't. You know, I mean, yeah, the culture was, you know, yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about, like, you know, older women now saying they were constantly asked out and hit on. Look, I'm not saying that didn't happen and that was ridiculous, but you know, there's no way men are like that anymore. There's no way that happens nearly as much now. And I mean, really, yeah, I'm just not into. I'm officially not into feminism. I don't care about. Not a fan. I don't think it's good for people. Period. I also don't think like men, pro men stuff is good either. I don't think focusing on your own thing only to the it basically is supremacy too. At some point, it does become that female supremacy. At some point, if you have a group that's designed to only protect your thing, then how is it not going to become like over the top at some point?
Repentant aggressors to convince coddled Western females that they are always and everywhere unsafe. Feminists complained.
Silent and going along with it.
Okay,
if people had risen, fuck them. And
females that they are always and everywhere unsafe. Feminist complaint requires the inflation of minor misdeeds into major transgressions.
Yes. I feel the same way about this is racist, allegations that are zero burgers. You're just fucking up the country over nothing burgers. This is nothing. We shouldn't even know about it. They should be celebrating this victory. That's it. He's out of a job. Fuck them. And Orny's part of the problem.
No, you're part of the problem because you're giving this power by even discussing it. I didn't come in today thinking I was going to get into a yelling match with my good friend, Adam Carolla. You're going to be called, you're labeling me. You're trying to.
Yes, the reason I'm labeling you is because
Now look, they won the World Cup, for fuck's sake. I mean, how is that not mentioned? How is that not talked about? I mean, plus it wasn't anything. I just looked at it, and I swear to God, I thought it was going to be like he held her head there for like 5 seconds. That's how they're making it sound like he made out with her. He force made out with her, but it was like a quick thing that I've been, that an aunt kisses someone. I do have a Spanish aunt that, like I said, didn't hold my head like that, but like a quick peck or whatever. And Italian people do that too. My friend's Italian. I have a friend who's Italian, and his whole family makes out with each other. So, I mean, I was a little weirded out, but, I just walked out of the room after a while, but, no. But yeah, like a quick peck or whatever. I've never kissed my family on the lips, but that is something a lot of cultures do. That guy probably does it. That coach probably does it with his own family. And he's being called a rapist, basically. Like, the statements they put out are all dramatic. Like, after the fact is totally crazy, too, because they write this, like, fictional version of what is on video. That's the crazy part. It's on video. We can all see what happened. They won the World Cup. First of all, that's a goal. It's an important position she had. That's probably why he was like, "You were great." That's what that. He probably meant it as like, "You were great." He would have done it to a guy, in my opinion, too. Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish Adam would. Maybe he has. I don't know if Adam's talked to Jordan Peterson or somebody like that, because he's right. They're ruining the country. This has been going on for years, though, decades. The Opie and Anthony show talked about it. The Opie and Anthony show didn't get enough credit because it had like a segment called the Apology Clock for a while, and it would just count down the days because it was always a celeb apologizing. And this was before, well, maybe it was when cancel culture was starting. It was like every fucking, and now it's like multiple times a day. Now it's way up more often. Like they wouldn't be able to keep the clock, really.
Whether it is this incident or whether it's COVID, the problem is the people being silent and going along with it.
Okay,
if people had risen up and said this is nuts or this is a nothing burger, if enough voices would do it, then the culture would shift. But people are scared and they're cowards and they go along with it. And we just got fucked up by COVID because everyone's a fucking coward. They should have risen up, but they were scared.
I'm going to get up right now and I'm going to grab the back of your head and I'm
Two
going
hands.
to plant a kiss right on your lip.
This dude is acting like this just happened. That's not at all what happened in the fucking video. Like, they won the World Cup, and then he did it to other players. He hugged like every other one, and then he sees the goalie. He's like, "Wow, the goalie did great." That's, in my opinion, that was probably why, because you could see him look at her like, "You were great," and it wasn't like, "Oh, I want to fuck her" or whatever. It probably was like this was a star player. And now he's not going to go anywhere near anybody. I mean, and that's sad, actually. I mean, normally, I mean, yeah, I don't, like, I will, like, personally wouldn't love being kissed or whatever, but I wouldn't really think anything of it unless it happened, like, twice. Especially when there wasn't a World Cup fucking win that just happened. But this guy here is also doing what everybody else does. Imagine if I just randomly came up. Yeah, that would be kind of weird. But that's not what happened,
And you let me know if that's sexual assault or welcomed.
Well, it would be out of context here.
Yep.
No, we're celebrating a great segment.
You just
that was
won,
a great segment.
If you just won the Publishers Clearinghouse and Ed McMahon handed you a foam check
for 10 years,
$80 million, then you could do it to me and we would have a complete context to it. All right. That's my answer. Now, Nelson Strasser, Teresa's dad.
Making a tight.
I missed the one part. I missed the best part, I think.
Lives, but instead, it's overshadowed by assault, misogyny, and failures by the Spanish Federation.
Assault. Misogyny.
Yes, the assault. I just played that video. You guys think that's assault?
American soccer players have taken to wearing pro-herm.
Oh my God. This became this became a movement.
Moso armbands and carrying anti-misogyny
These are
banners.
your people, Arnie.
What do you mean, my
Enjoy
people?
these fruitcakes.
You don't know
You
don't know where I stand.
You stand.
So I don't really know if this guy's fucking around just to get Adam upset, though. But either way, it's good.
Ditch.
Abandoned by his former allies, except his mother, who staged an abortive hunger strike which she had intended to continue until Hermoso admitted to her lies. Rubiales remained defiant, as well he should have. The Me Too movement and
This is ridiculous. This is fucking... the Me Too thing is going down in history as bad now. I mean, it started out like, oh, wow, we're getting these monsters out. And then now it's like,
national offshoots are destroying normal human life, which consists, for now at least, in male-female interactions.
Yep.
There was nothing sexual about the split-second kiss. It was a spontaneous...
It was seriously split second. That's how long it was.
...expression of joy. Rubiales' lips were closed, and the kiss had no predatory aftermath. As soon as Rubiales...
Yeah, my main problem with Me Too stuff now is... people are assuming you can read minds of the men. Well, and the women, I guess, too, but they're the ones coming out and saying the man did whatever. So you have to assume that he was predatory and he was meaning to be predatory. Like, you can read his mind, he had malicious intent doing it. It was not, oh, sure, we won the World Cup. Oh, how convenient for him that he can kiss this girl. He must have purposely had them take the fall, the other team, just so he could say, oh, it was enjoy. But really, we know what's going on. It's a predatory assault. It was a rape kiss is what it was. I don't know how she's, like, surviving after that, He should give back everything he's ever won, all the money he's ever made. he should be put in a firing squad, probably. You know, public execution, something like that, at least. You know, but that's where we are now, guys. We're assuming we know what he was thinking, and we know that he meant to be predatory. You don't know that. We don't know for a fact that he was motivated sexually to do that. We know that they won the World Cup. That we do know as a fact. We know that he was like hugging or whatever the other players, and none of them complained, and it looked fine because nothing happened. And those are the facts we know, and we have it on video that it was a very fast fucking thing that meant nothing. So I don't think it's probably true that he was being predatory then. You would have to assume the guy's a creep, and plus there's no other, it's not like she brought up other incidents that he did, you know? That's the only way this would make sense, is if, oh, that looks whatever, but I mean, he's done, you know, a bunch of other stuff. No, there's nothing. So that's where we are now. That's where Me Too is gone.
Greeted the next player coming down the reception line. He lost awareness of Hermoso. Spain's social rights minister had adduced the kisses.
God, none of this is going to help Teresa sell books.
Listen,
and that's the
publication.
Yeah, who wrote this?
It's written by Heather McDonald, not the.
Only the number and sequence of those kisses differ from one nation to the next. To plant a kiss fleetingly on the lips in such a celebratory context is hardly a significant departure from cultural norms.
Can you read that line again about the tattoos? I mean, it feels like it's blaming the victim. This is how
we are
dissect,
now because they got to her.
What is that line? Read that again, Dawson, if you don't mind.
I think this is the part.
Her post-victory Instagram video showed no signs of trauma. Loud-mouthed, tattooed, and self-assured. This woman is no shrinking Victorian violet in need of a fainting
That's blaming
couch.
the victim. And what is having a tattoo
Oh,
of
you're
anything
such a
to do
fucking
with it?
pussy, Orny.
No.
She ruined this guy's career. And by the way, I hope Spain never fucking wins another fucking women's soccer game ever again.
Are you done eating Spanish food?
I'm done.
Will you look at a Picasso picture ever again?
Not the same way.
No?
No.
How about a piñata?
How about the movie Barcelona?
No.
Are you done with it? Woody Allen directed. Was that him?
How about sangria? Will you ever drink sangria?
Christina Barcelona?
I don't drink sangria anyway because I've never looked at a glass of wine and said, I wish it had less alcohol in it.
And fruit chunks.
And tasted
grapes.
like high C.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to.
Yeah, I can't tell if this guy's being serious or not, but
cutting it. You know what I mean?
I mean, saying that was victim blaming is completely insane.
Drink is an assault.
Yeah, what are you trying to do here? You take a glass of wine. I'm not down with the mimosa for that.
In only one sense can one attribute a sexual element to the kiss. It is a brittle ideology of transgressions.
Yes, I feel the same way.
It was a spontaneous expression of joy. Rubiales is vulnerable and the victim of assault, an impulsive macho act which was out of place and with no consent on my behalf. Simply put, I was not respected. I was asked to make a joint statement to reduce the pressure on the president, but at that time my mind was only on enjoying the historic achievement together with my teammates. That's why I told the RFEF, the Spanish Soccer Federation, as well as the media and the people close to me, that I didn't want to make any kind of individual or collective statement.
I mean, what's next after this? Like a guy looked at you. I mean, that's next. As you can see in the video, his stare, which like maybe a split-second stare, he looked at me to motion me to come up. As you can see in his predatory rape-like stare. I mean, I have to still process the trauma. Okay? it's going to take a while.
Like the values of the whole
issue.
Wait a second. Because of herpes simplex 1?
No, because of the podium was 18 inches off the ground. She could have rolled an ankle.
Could have.
Yes.
U.S. women's team member Alex Morgan tweeted that, quote, winning a World Cup should be one of the best moments in these players' lives, but instead
Rape.
it's overshadowed by assault, misogyny, and failures by the Spanish Federation.
Assault. Misogyny.
American soccer players have taken to wearing Pro Hermoso armbands. I was asked to make a joint.
Into a kiss. That's a peck. It's not a kiss.
That's like saying, he raped me. What do you mean he raped you? You were kissing him. It escalated. They're two different things.
I'm just going to let you sit with that.
You can sit with me, and you can. I mean,
all right, rest of the article, Dawson.
There was
Ouch.
To her.
Who's they?
You can keep reading.
Oh, yeah.
Hermoso, the athlete, discovered that.
And you'd rather yell over me than take it in and process the information.
Look, you're part of the problem.
Oh, I'm not part of the problem.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Disagree.
This is why you're part of the problem, because
Part of the problem. I'm the bridge between the lunatic side you're on and the lunatic side.
People need to raise their voice and say, this is nothing. Keep moving, everyone. We have real problems. They have real problems. This isn't one of them.
Yeah, I mean, these people that are like, I'm in the middle. It's like, no, this is like, this made me think like, we used to like, we never had to debate dumb shit like this before. We never had to like go over basic facts and go, I don't know. Could have been, like, look at his eyes, the way he, like, aggressively touched her head like that. I mean, she's a woman. She can't have her head touched. I mean, she'd break. I mean, what are you talking about? She's a soccer player and takes balls to the... I don't even mean for that pun, but... She takes balls to the fucking mouth and face and shit. But yeah, I mean, soccer is not a gentle... I don't know if they play with a different ball or something. I mean, I couldn't even play it in gym. I hated that you had to use your head and shit, and I just didn't like it. I mean, it probably led to a lot of like damage to brains and stuff from just that. I mean, being a goalie like that, I mean, you probably have CTE at some point. Maybe that's why she's confused. Maybe she had a fake memory or something. I mean, that I just don't, again, like, unless he always kissed this exact player or something. Again, the initial Me Too stories, they had they would always have a lot of incidents. Like, oh, he did this, and then he did this to this person, then this person. And this is just, like, the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I mean... And I didn't really think it would go outside of the U.S. like it has, like a Spanish soccer team. And then everybody comes out and wears armbands about this. Like, just drop a fucking asteroid on the Earth. I mean, seriously, like, just let us go. Let the sun burn us out. Turn up the sun. Turn up the sun now. If there's ever a time for, like, end times or whatever. Ugh. Just fucking flood the planet again. Put 2 of everybody on a boat. And leave these type of people away like Adam is talking about. I mean, they ruined everything. I mean,
This guy is the architect of this championship. Now let's celebrate the women. That's what should be said.
Don't you think that needs to now come from the women's soccer team or football team in Spain?
I don't know who it needs to come from. We shouldn't even be having this discussion.
Well, you started.
My thing. No, this one we should. Okay. All right, we have the article now.
So the coach himself, after told...
Yeah, so... so there's more arguments in this episode, but I forget what it's about. I think that was like, I mean, this is like, if you want to argue about other Me Too things, that's one thing, but this is the dumbest shit ever. I mean, we really, like, I was thinking we used to not give air to argue. If something was, like, really ridiculous, you just wouldn't give it airtime. You wouldn't really give it attention, like, Oh, let's really debate that with a fine-tooth comb for like weeks on end. Let's really go back and decide. Oh, obviously he's a predator because of the way he, like, what? What are you talking about? Meanwhile, real rapists are just going, yeah, get that guy. He's the guy you should get. Ignore me. Ignore me going out there and doing. I mean, just like, I don't know, somebody drop an asteroid on us or something. Just do another dinosaur ending type of thing. Yeah, and I guess, yeah, that, well, you know, I'm not going to go into the whole. Russell Brand is being Me Too'd also, but, you know, at least he has, I mean, that, if you want to argue Russell Brand, that's one thing, but then this soccer coach is even dumber than, like, anything out right now. I mean, yeah, like, how do you even, every fucking man and woman, like, no man is ever want to, like, you know, there's a whole Russell Brand Me Too thing. I didn't look into the, like, I just am done with, I'm done with it. I mean, like I said, the Me Too stuff for a while, we were like, oh shit, this guy must be a monster. And yeah, I still do think some of those guys are. Your Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, they got those big guys that seem like real monsters. And then eventually, soccer, this fucking thing. Russell Brand. Now look, the only thing that I didn't read any of them. I just heard something about a 16-year-old he was with. And I guess that's legal age in the UK. Kind of reminds me of the Chris D'Elia stuff, I guess. Basically, it sounds like that. I mean, it sounds exactly like that because he said, "Oh, I was really promiscuous." Yeah, he was pretty big in Hollywood back early 2000s, whenever it was. So I'm not surprised that girls would come out. And then everybody is like, "Oh, it's because he's anti-establishment now." I don't know, and I don't care. I don't want to assume intent again, because that's what I realized about Me Too and basically every kind of witch hunt on a guy. You have to assume that every one of these interactions that he had malicious intent on everything that they say. Like even saying, the Aziz Ansari thing. Everybody at least recognized that was bullshit. Although he's scared to just do anything now. I don't think he does anything anymore. I mean, he could easily do comedy again. But like, that was basically, you assume everybody did read that correctly. I will say that was good that everybody recognized that. But then you have, like, now I'm just like, okay, well, I don't like the fact that a grown man would be with a 16-year-old. Do I think he should be called a rapist? No. Because I guess it's legal there, though it's just like, ugh, it's just. But I mean, it's like, it's also, there's also always the him and Armie Hammer both had the whole, like, I was an addict thing going on. And I guess you get a little leeway with me. I just don't, like, this doesn't really change how I think of Russell Brand. I kind of already knew that he was, back then I assumed he was getting with women all the time. And then there was this, like, clip going around of him flirting with a girl on a talk show that was really nothing. And I mean, I think he'll be okay, except that, like, he got demonetized on YouTube, but everybody did. Everybody got demonetized who's controversial on YouTube. And, I don't care, again, but it kind of makes me, well, the Jonah Hill thing makes me worried, because that was a case of his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, a surfer girl who's not that, nothing special really to me, but I guess for Jonah Hill, I don't know. Well, Jonah Hill, he's like all into therapy now. He's all into, I had issues, and obviously because he was always going up and down in weight. And he's annoying, but that doesn't mean he's a predator. And she posted all his texts to her, private texts that seemed like they were at the end of a relationship kind of texts, like, hey, it was literally like, hey, look, I can't deal with, and there was a list of stuff, and it made it seem like this guy's a controlling freak. But then when you think about the context of it's an end of a relationship, probably, and then, I mean, somebody else said, I did hear that it was, then it makes sense that you'd be like, look, I don't know if we're going to work out. Here's what I have problems with. Now, was he saying, do this, like constantly texting her, like, hey, take that picture down. Hey, stop surfing? I mean, and then it was right when he was about to have a kid or announced that he had a kid. There was somebody, and then she just leaks all his texts. I don't agree with that. I don't care if you, unless there's a reason that you need to fear for your safety. I don't know. I don't know. I guess, yeah, I don't really see any reason to do that. It was pretty terrible. Like, I would never date this girl. If anybody dates this girl after that, like, you're asking for, I mean, any argument you get in, she can just take that stuff, take out her responses or whatever she might have argued back. Like, there's no way. But I just worry that, like, girls will start doing that to, like, their boyfriends, even if it's nothing, just, like, posting. I just need to release this to, like, let girls know this isn't okay to do. Like, that was her excuse. But look, you just want to get back at him. It's so easy to say that you're doing it for other girls. Like, get out of here. I'm just doing this, like...
I'm just doing this for, like, other girls to know that it's not okay. It is not okay to put up with this.
Jonah's going, look, this was the end of a relationship. We're going to have a big fight. I didn't do that. Like, yeah, if he constantly did stuff like that, if he did that a few times even, and it was like, hey, take pictures down, I can't, I don't know. And maybe he does realize he was weird back then too. That's even worse if he, like, kind of made amends with her, and then all of a sudden she does this. Look, a coincidence right when he announces a kid. That he has a baby. A little weird, huh? Yeah, I'm not buying her side of it, because that's too suspicious to me, but that's another thing where I go, well, look, if she had other evidence, somebody else, I was always waiting for that about Louis C.K. too, like, if he does this again, or if more people come out, but then after a while, just nothing else happened. And it seemed like he realized he messed up, and I don't know what the situation was again, because you also do there, too, have to assume that he meant to force them to watch him jerk off. Now, I don't know that he meant to force them to do it, and he knew that they didn't want to do it. That's the biggest issue I have with this stuff now. If Louis C.K. knew that they were uncomfortable and didn't want to watch him jerk off, which I don't blame them if they didn't. Well, they didn't, obviously, now, but you assume that he had to want, like, he got off on the fact that, one, they were watching, and two, that they didn't want to watch, and he was forcing them to, and that
was the real turn on. Ooh, you guys can't leave. Let me lock this door real quick. Lock this fucking door. You're gonna watch me. You're gonna watch me finish too. Because I'm Louis C.K. and I own this fucking industry.
And so yeah, you have to assume that he's evil, and that's why. And he wanted to lock them in to force them. I don't know. It could have been a misunderstanding if it was just them, and I always thought, like, and I still do think, look, if he does this again, I can't listen to his comedy after that. But I am a forgiving, in a way, person. Like, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know that he knew that Did he want to force them to watch? I don't know. Maybe they just sat there awkwardly and later on said, we felt forced. I think they might have said he had stopped the door or something, which is really bad. But again, like, I haven't seen. If there was video footage of that happening, that would be a totally different story. But because of that, and because nothing else came out, I guess that's why I went back and listened to his comedy again. Because I don't think you should ever say nobody has any opportunity to come back after something bad. I mean, like, every celebrity was an addict or did drugs and had a bad period. I mean, they probably screwed people over financially. If they didn't do something like that, they probably did something bad. Stole from somebody, whatever, I don't know. But, yeah, anyway, I'm gonna find this coach and beat the shit out of him. Yeah, but I think people forget about Adam Carolla because he just does a show and, like, he's not a pundit. I don't know how he keeps staying out of cancellation. Well, I guess because he has his own show. I don't know. He just does his own thing and nobody really... I mean, I did see a video saying, people got upset about his COVID tweet, but I'd never hear about anything about Adam Carolla. He kind of seems like... And he had on Gina Carano when she first was doing interviews after... I don't know, this was like a year or two ago. He had her on and he was the best interview. His was way better than Rogan's because he actually was like calling people out saying like your co-star should have stood up for you. And Rogan didn't even do that. Nobody like talks about Adam Carolla, but I mean, I think he's involved with the whole Daily Wire thing too. I don't know. Don't sleep on him though, yo. Lock this door. Don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on him, yo. Sleep on him, yo. He out there and shit, yo. You better find out. Yeah. I'm asking yeah. I was just gonna say here. I tried watching the show True Detective. Everybody raves about the first season or so. And I really am having a hard time getting past the like cringe of that character Matthew McConaughey is doing. And I think it's because of the whole detective. I don't know, I'm just sick of the whole like I'm a detective and I'm an irreverent drunk guy and I'm like a dark, I'm a drunk guy, drink and I smoke and I'm just... do it by the books, and I'm Matthew McConaughey. What else you want to ask me? I need some beer. It's my drinking day. Yeah, I don't do it like everybody else does. I don't do it by the books, okay? And he talks like that, like it goes to scenes in like present day and then it goes back in time. And the ones in present day, he's like, he has this long hair and he's like, yeah. And I can't fucking make it through. I just can't. With this guy thinking he's a badass because he's a drunk or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'd have to see like how he becomes that way, but so far it's just so over the top. Yeah, I smoke and I drink, and you know what? I'm the best goddamn private eye this town's ever seen. That's because I'm flawed. I'm a flawed character. Okay, yeah. I smoke, all right? Bet you can't handle that. Bet you can't handle I'm a cynic and I say depressing stuff all the time. We might as well die out, Yeah. I'm Matthew McConaughey and I'm signing off. Check out a guy and I can't do it. This is a terrible impression, but, get the gist of check out a guy in his room. We might as well be in a room of darkness and despair because that's what life is, guys. Anyway, I'm the best damn private eye this town's ever seen.